Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Gearhead 426 channel. I have a little bit of a story for you guys. First story is I haven't been uploading because I've been trading around jobs and whatnot and not having a lot of free time. I was working about 12 hours a day between my job and Uber because the job wasn't paying enough to support my basic, needs and whatnot. So I was taking it upon myself to increase my income by working for Uber Eats because I do not have a four-door car. My girlfriend does, and she does Uber X, but I do Uber Eats, and I prefer delivering food over a stranger in my car anyways. Story number 2 is the bug broke down. The diesel Beetle. Again, I was delivering for Uber Eats, went down the street. It originally had road closed signs on it because it was by a construction site, by a new dormitory that they're putting up, apartment complex. And I didn't think anything of it because the signs were removed, like they were gone. So I was just going down it. Like, just minding my own business, making my last delivery. And what ended up happening is I hit a pothole. Now at first I was like, oh crap, that was pretty hard. Like it was hard. And I went, gave it a little bit of gas. It was driving straight. Turbo was still running fine. Like, because I could see my boost gauge, all that kind of stuff. Everything was fine. So I was like, okay, no big deal. So I drive down about 2 miles to where I need to go ahead and make my delivery, and I come back down and I notice a little trail of oil leading up to my bug. And I look at it and I'm like, that's really, really, really black. And I drive a diesel, so I know it's mine. And it's not black because I haven't changed it. It's actually halfway through. Every 10,000 miles you're supposed to change it with fully synthetic 5W40 because it's a diesel. But hey, which way, I see the really, really dark oil and I'm like, oh crap, that's my car. And I look up underneath, and well, this picture describes it. Saw about at least 4-ish quarts of oil on the ground. Was not a good sight. I was not happy at all. What I decided to do is we towed it home with the truck. I ran home, grabbed my buddy, grabbed a tow strap, and we took the good old Fateful, the nice, Dakota. Because this thing has never, ever, 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 ever left me on the side of the road. And this thing is on, what, third freaking time that it's left me on the side of the freaking road? Like, bad Volkswagen. So, I'm going to go ahead and change out the pan today. All of this happened last night. I'm trying to get my car up and going today. Because I need to go ahead and get back out and do Uber Eats. And while I do Uber Eats, I like to edit my videos and whatnot when it's dead. But I have to keep that income coming in. So I already have a gasket that's on the way. It should be at my local AutoZone at around 9 o'clock, which is really nice. I really like that they do that. Now they have the next day thing most of the time. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go down to the local pick-and pole. Thankfully, we still have a pick-and pole here in Tallahassee, Florida. The one in Panama City was removed because of Hurricane Michael. Really did some damage. But we're going to go ahead, run down there, and go pick up an oil pan. Now, at first I was worried that, the diesels are pretty rare. They're not very common. I mean, they're not rare, they're still around, but they're not very common. And I was kind of scared of like, maybe they won't have the oil pan that I need and all that kind of stuff. And then I went and I looked up the actual oil pan to see, how much it cost online, which if you go through eBay, they're dirt freaking cheap, but they're not good quality. I went and I looked it up though. The oil pan that is used on the 1.9 TDI ALHs or BEWs from 98 to 2006, I think, they all use the same oil pan as the 2 liters, the 2-liter 4-cylinder and the 1.8 turbo. It's all the exact same aluminum oil pan, which that's another thing too. If this oil pan wasn't aluminum, it wouldn't have cracked. Oh well. I'm still an American guy, and you know, I love my Japanese cars too, and they all use steel oil pans. Leave it up to frickin' Germans to go ahead and over-engineer something. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is jack it on up. Oh, and that actually reminds me, here's a photo of that crack. I went and I took that after we brought it here. I'm going to go ahead, jack it up, get my new little creeper that my parents got me for Christmas, which thanks Mom and Dad for that. I really appreciate that. That thing is nice. Jack it up, go ahead and take the oil pan out, throw it in the back of the truck, run down to Pick and Pull. Go ahead and find an oil pan that looks similar, get it, then go outside, compare the two pans to make sure they match, and go from there. So let's go ahead and start doing that. It shouldn't take me but maybe 10 minutes to go ahead and pull this frickin' pan off. We'll see. Pan is out. Took longer than 10 minutes, which really sucks. I thought it wouldn't take that long. In fact, you could actually see that what was left leaked out all over my driveway, which really sucks, but it's whatever. And here is the pan and the carnage. So the reason why it took a little bit longer than I thought is these two bolts here and here are right next to the flywheel, and a pain in the ass to get a socket on. I tried getting it on with an Allen wrench because there's also an Allen fitting for these, and still couldn't get it. And then I realized, oh wait, maybe I should try turning the flywheel, and hopefully there's a little slot, and sure enough there was a slot, so that helped. And they also had these big 16mm bolts here, here, and here, which I thought was really weird. I'm really happy to see that there isn't any material in the pan, that there's no like metal or anything like that, so that's good news to me, because I was scared of that. And here is all the damage right here from where it hit. You know, that's a pretty decent sized hole. But yeah, that really sucks. If it was, you know, made out of sheet metal like most oil pans are, then it would have just bent it and not have popped a hole in it like that. It would have just made like the next oil change a bit more of a pain in the ass. But gonna go ahead and put this guy in right there, because that is not going inside the truck. I have a few tools that I'm bringing with me. I don't really need anything else. Just because it's German, I'll bring my set of triple squares, because who the hell knows? You never know what you're going to run into. Go ahead and close this guy. And now we get to go ahead and do a cold start on the truck. Yay. Okay, so I am back from Pick and Pull. I actually scored really well. I only paid $13 for a new oil pan, and not just any oil pan, one of the hybrid oil pans, which is the aluminum here and then the steel on the bottom. which it looks like it holds just a tiny bit more oil, which I'm perfectly fine with, and it's also a lot stronger. It's purposely built to take more hits than the usual pan would, because the cast aluminum pan, it would take a little bit of a hit and then it would crack. This one, it'll take a hit and it'll just bend, which I'd much prefer bending over cracking, because then I won't be stranded like I was last night. I currently have it soaking in degreaser so that I could go ahead and clean it up and whatnot. Now, I was going to go ahead and use a gasket to go ahead and do the oil pan, but I decided not to, because the OEM for most Volkswagens around this year is to actually use RTV. I mean, on this car it was RTV, on that one, which I understand it's not OEM parts, so someone replaced it, but it was also RTV and looked like it had no oil leaks at all. So I went on out and I got the really nice ultra black. It's actually specifically for oil pans, so it will hold really nice and strong, no problem. I'm going to be taking my Scotch-Brite pads and really cleaning that pan out, making it look super nice. I'm going to go ahead and get right to it, because there's not a whole lot to show. It's a frickin' oil pan. I mean, this is pretty much all you will be looking at anyways if you were under here, is that, which is bottom of my motor. That's what the bottom of a tiny diesel. It's crazy how small that frickin' motor is. It's only like maybe a foot and a half, like 1.6 inches long. It's pretty tiny. But I'm gonna go ahead, clean it up, get to it, and pray that there's no leaks and that my bug still runs just fine. Okay, so my camera died. Oops, that happens to me sometimes. But any which way, diesel Beetle's running. It's got oil in it. It's running good. There are no leaks, which is super freaking awesome. The new pan is really nice. I like how instead of the old 17mm drain bolt, it's now a 8mm hex, which really like that. Running good, running fine. Don't see any issues at all. I already know what's wrong with the truck. Truck needs a new O2 sensor, has a evap leak, and the idle air control valve all need to be replaced. Not a big deal. Got those parts out of the way. Do a video on that. But yeah, the Beetle's running, which is awesome, because I need to go ahead and get out to doing Uber and make some money to go ahead and pay for all this crap. Thankfully though, it wasn't near as expensive as I thought it was going to be. I think I paid around $60 for this fix, which isn't bad at all. Now I understand some people might not be able to pay $60 for this kind of fix, because they might not be able to have the resources that I did, be able to go to pick and pull and whatnot, or a pull apart place, and being able to find a part like I did. That's all right though. Everything's good to go. Any which way, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're stopping by for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I hope everybody's having a great day.